Still trying to get the hang of it, are you? Running a legitimate business? What are you doing here? Well, certainly not for the second-rate French cuisine. I'll save you from trying to decipher the legalese. I'm suing you for defamation.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I will be taking you through the last days of our lives recap for today, October 4th, 2024. Time is flying. So anyways, we see Gabby, she's still at the hospital, and Rafe is about to get discharged, right? Because he was on the phone with Jada, arranging, the transportation and all of that. So he's getting discharged. Has a clean bill of health and all that. So he went to check in on Gabby and, just seeing how she's doing. And he also tells her that he's getting discharged and Jada is, on her way to pick him up and all that. So he's asking, how is she doing? And she's like, she's getting there. She just can't believe that once again that she was blind enough to, not see what Connie was up to and just following her advice on a lot of things, She just can't believe she really was naive to trust in her and all of that. So he's like, listen, you weren't naive, you just was trying to, see the best in other people and all of that. So he said, according to Jada, Connie is locked away in Bayview where she can't hurt anybody else, including Stefan. So she's like, why you included his name? So he's like, I heard about what happened between the two of you, and it was a stupid mistake on his part, but you really think you should throw away this marriage, you guys can't work it out. So she's like, I don't know, because I can't get that image out of my head, and then also I made things worse by sleeping with his brother. So he's like, are you out of your mind? Like, he sent you to prison and all of that. Like, why would you want to do that? So she's like, she was trying to get the image out of her head, trying to stick it to Stefan, and he's like, did that work? And she's like, no, she still sees them together, and she don't know how they can move forward with that, right? So Rafe, he has to leave, and he said like, okay, I only want to see you happy, and she also wishes him the same. He did end up calling EJ at some point and said, listen, you need to stay away from my sister and her marriage. Like, this is EJ's like, is this a threat? So he's like, no. You need to go to hell with that, right? So we go to Mark and Marion, right? Because that's her actual name. So Marion is, talking with Mark about, how she feels guilty about what she's doing to Chad and how he's going to feel knowing that his wife is not actually alive. And it's just really eating up her alive. So he's like, I understand. I also feel that too. But, we have to do what we have to do if we want our mother back, right? So they talk about the younger siblings, Felicity and Aaron, and how they would feel knowing this is going on and knowing that their mother is actually alive, right? Because to them, their parents died in this, fire or whatever, some accident, and they're still grieving, they're still affected by it, but they're just trying, the older ones are trying to keep them out of the dark. So at some point, Felicity and Aaron come over because they were supposed to meet up with Mark earlier, but he didn't show because he had an appointment and all of that. And they were just talking about how he has been an exceptional older sibling, given everything that happened with their parents and how they're still affected by it and all that, right? So anyways, they meet up at the park, and he introduces them to, well, quote unquote, their sister, but still, he said, she's Abigail Devereaux, a patient of his, right? So Felicity, off the bat, she said, your face look familiar. And, Mark is like, these faces, they are, common to see faces that's similar to this and all that. So anyways, he said he's going to go to the hospital to start his shift. And they said they were going to go off into the park. But at some point when they leave, him and Marion talk. And Marion is like, I can't believe they didn't recognize me. I just feel so heartbroken about this, and they're growing so big and all that. So she said, I know it's because of the plastic surgery, but Felicity slightly recognized me, so that makes me feel good in some sort. So he's like, we have to keep them not knowing what is going on so that we can keep our mother safe, right? So anyway, she gets a call from Chad, and Chad wants to see her, so she heads over to the house. So Julie and Chad are having a conversation. Julie tells Chad that, his daughter Charlotte has been, rummaging through the attic, just, going through stuff, her jewelry, kids being kids, right? So she stumbles upon a box of mementos, stuff from Abigail and Chad's wedding. And then she begins to ask Julie about her mom and, saying her mom is in heaven and how she wish she could call her and all of that, right? So Julie gets emotional about it and she's like, Chad, you need to tell the kids about Abigail being alive, because what if they see somebody in the town and they tell them, all right, your mom is alive and all of that. I seen your mom and, etc., etc. So he's like, you have a point about that, right? It's just crazy that she's in town. She's not like she's far away where she can't see them and all that. So Chad takes her up on that. That's when he actually made that call to, fake Abigail, right? So fake Abigail comes over and she's like, what's happening? So he's like, we need to talk. Like, we really need to tell the kids that you are alive. So let's see what happens in the following week of this conversation. So we go over to Stefan and EJ, right? So EJ comes over there, he's like, oh, I see you're getting the hang of it, trying to run a legitimate business. So he's like, what do you want? So he's like, not that I want to dine at this second-rate French restaurant, but I'm here to sue you for defamation. So he's like, defamation, what are you talking about? So it's like, for you spreading lies about me having something to do with the kidnapping of Nicole's baby to Mayor Price and anybody else involved. So he's like, this is no spreading of lies. Like, this is something that you told me factually, right? You told me that you helped Sloan get away, right? So he's like, regardless of that, that can't stand up nowhere, even though, it's the truth and whatever, it can't stand nowhere. So, even if you were to go forward with that, like, I can make it known to the public and go to the newspapers that me and your wife had, a rather passionate night and all of that, so that, everybody knows what's going on. So, Stefan gets really uncomfortable about that because EJ is just gloating on and on about how he and his wife, like, really got it on. And he's like, I spoke to Gabby and I know that it's a one night thing and she doesn't want no more of that. So he's like, that may be true, but that one night will always be etched in your head. So, like, I have a proposition. You can sign this paper to state that, all right, you won't say anything about me in this kidnapping or everything. Like, you won't spread any more information. You will be silent. So you sign this affidavit and, I won't go to the public about, our one night thing. So he ended up signing it. And, again, EJ is being, pompous as he usually is. And he's like, I hope that memory stays etched in your head, right? So, EJ is just, as Misery said, Misery loves company. So he's just happy that this marriage is, being destroyed in any way, right? So anyway, Stefan comes over to Gabby. But I should mention earlier that Gabby had this dream of Stefan coming over to work out things between the two of them. He had roses and everything. So it's like deja vu when he actually comes. In reality, he has some flowers. And she thought that, okay, this is actually becoming a reality. So Stefan burst her bubble and said, listen, these are some flowers from, some assistant at Gabby Chic, wanted to, wish her well in her recovery. And she's like, oh, okay, so what are you really doing here? So he tells her that, I spoke to my lawyer, and she's like, your lawyer? So he's like, yeah, and I really I'm gonna file for divorce. So of course that left her stunned, because she really, no matter how she put it off, like Stephen can go to wherever, she still has some feelings. That's her husband, like they've been through a lot together. But anyways, I'll leave you guys with a clip. That is it for today's recap. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
I wanted to let you know that I spoke to my lawyer.